Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Amal Abou Rafeh, and I lead the team that works on aging issues at the UN headquarters in New York. Last week, my team and I held an expert group meeting on the lessons that we've learned during the pandemic as regards older persons and what kind of policy implications those might have. These will feed into the upcoming Secretary General's report that will be addressed to the General Assembly at its 76th session later this fall. Now, Eduardo and Peter had invited me to join you today to share my impressions from what had happened last week during our expert meeting. I would like to share some impressions prior to the meeting, some during the meeting, and some following the meeting. Prior to the meeting, the title itself was quite telling. At first, we started off with the common saying, which is building back better, until someone told us, is that what you really want? Do you want the government over the next few years to work to build back to where we were, which was a main contributing reason for the experiences that older people went through the past year during the pandemic? So we decided to change that into building forward better. And then someone else told us, in what world do you think that the next few years will actually involve building forward better for older people, particularly for those who live in low and middle income countries? So the title in itself is quite telling. Now, we've asked an economist to draft a background paper as we wanted these discussions on social policies to be anchored in economic realities. It's posted online on our website, and I invite you to check it out. Um, During the meeting, there was an understanding that there are projected losses that governments will experience and that there will be a public financing fiscal crises, and we expect rounds of austerity. This means that there will be fewer resources, and we anticipate that it'll be harder to implement a human rights-based agenda. With less funding, less interest from member states as regards older persons, and less capacities, doubling down on a rights-based agenda will be key, and broadening and expanding stakeholder participation will be key as well. In parallel, as governments focus on more pro-growth agendas, it's important to make sure that older persons are represented in economic policies to produce that growth. Now, several issues on social health and data aspects were raised during the meeting. And, we found that during the pandemic, it amplified the arguments that we've already heard over the years. Issues related to ageism, to poverty, to access to healthcare. What was new, though, during the pandemic that was highlighted at the discussions during last week's meeting is that we need to rethink our approach to residential care, and also that society dictated the identity of older people, categorizing them during COVID-19. And we're seeing a counter reaction as many older persons are unwilling to accept to be boxed within that identification and see themselves as powerful, as resilient, as parts of society who had and continue to contribute to their societies and to the economies. And in these social health and data discussions, it is clear that substantive arguments do not win political battles. And it was highlighted that there is a need, an emphasis on sustainability and the need for a holistic perspective that links existing frameworks together and mainstreams aging into policies and into legislation. There was clearly a strong momentum for that in our discussions. And also highlighted is that action at the regional level is needed, and a focus on human rights and advocacy at the national level were also highlighted. Now, following the meeting, my best impression of it is a Twitter that I found one of our experts had sent out. She said that this week we participated in an expert group meeting on building forward better for older persons with lessons learned from COVID-19. The right time and very important topics. We move forward with a little more clarity and hope. I wish you the best deliberations during your meeting, and thank you for inviting us to share our experience last week with you.